It's Emma here from Time to Change York, and today I am joined by one of our fantastic Time to Change champions, champion Rich. Hiya, Rich.
Hiya.
You doing all right?
Yeah, I'm doing all right, yeah.
Oh, good. So today we're just going to be having a bit of a chat about our They Said project. So this is a project that we're working on, all about things that people have said to us in response or in reaction to our mental health problems. And I'm just really interested, Rich, to hear about your experience. Is there any particular experience that stands out for you that you'd just like to chat about today?
Yeah, there was one particular experience when I went to my local pub with my good friends who I always did on the weekend. And I'd just gone back from the bar and I sat down, and one of my old mates from school had obviously seen me. And he came over to me and he said, "Oh, I ain't seen you for a while." And I says, "Oh, yeah. And he says, "Where are you working at the moment?" And I said, "I'm currently working. I've been through a big breakdown. I'm struggling from mental health issues at the moment." And he said, "Oh, right." And he sort of like went blank. And then I says, "Oh, how are you doing?" And he says, "Yeah, I'm all right. Yeah, I'm doing well. Got a good job." And I says, "Well, do you fancy my number and keep in touch?" And he says, "Ah, yeah, I'll give me number and we'll go out for a pint one day." Give me his number, and then he walks away back to his mates, and I looked round and they were laughing all the time and looking back at me as though they were just shocked or just taking mickey about the fact that I wasn't well. And he had no sympathy at all. It wasn't as if he didn't sit down with me and say, "Oh, I'm really sorry about that, Rich. I didn't think that had ever happened to anybody who I knew."
Yeah.
You know, and then he had no understanding, and in the end there was no contact with him, which I thought honestly that there would be, but it just proves the fact that people don't understand, or a lot of people don't. And it'd make me, if he'd have sat down and said to me, or in a long conversation, and just said, "I'm so sorry about this, you know, is there anything I can do to help you?" It made me feel so much better. The fact that somebody is understanding, because it proves that there is people out there that do.
Yeah, and it's really interesting to hear your experience. And I know a few other York champions have had a similar thing. Although our project is called They Said, but almost that non-response, the not saying anything and the walking away is just as bad, or if not worse, because then it's impossible to know what they are thinking. But then obviously to go on and then take the mickey and make fun out of you with their other friends is just awful. And how did that make you feel? And how does it make you feel thinking about it now as well?
I mean, this was about 10 years ago, and obviously I'm talking about it now, so it's still on my mind. I still think about it. At the time, for a couple of weeks after, I didn't want to go to a pub for a long while, because I thought maybe it'd still happen again. And I still think now, if I meet somebody who I haven't seen for a while, I know that I'll have to say the same thing. So I don't know what to say in a way. But it made me feel low.
Yeah.
It made me feel I was under the ground, because, you know, somebody had taken that kind of attitude towards me. And it was only basically, if I'd have had a broken leg sat in front of him, it'd have been a completely different thing. But because it's depression.
Yeah, I think Rich, that's a really interesting and important point. And I had that kind of knowing nod and smile, because I can really resonate with that. I've had, you know, for me, rather than friends, but with colleagues, you know, off work for a physical health problem versus a mental health problem. You know, you could be signed off for 2 weeks for either thing, and the same sort of situation in terms of the work and the workload and all of that. But in terms of reactions from colleagues, very, very different, very supportive for a physical illness. I can completely understand what you're saying. Yes, if you'd kind of hobbled into the pub on crutches with a broken leg, that reaction would have been different. In terms of people who'll be, you know, hopefully watching and listening to our video, I mean, what do you think would have been the most helpful thing for your friend to do?
One of the main things that would really help in anybody in the same situation is just to sit down and just ask a few questions about the illness and try and understand, in case they have the issue and or other members of the family do, so that they can understand the illness a bit more and help other people. It only takes a couple of questions just about the illness. I mean, I don't mind at all just telling them, because I've got experience in, talking about it, and I don't mind talking about it. So I wouldn't have minded sitting down with them and just saying a few things just to give him advice. And I think if a lot more people would be willing to do that, so that they know the symptoms, or they know that they can help others family-wise, then it'll make them feel a lot better, instead of just saying, thinking to themselves, oh no, I'm not getting involved with this. I think that's the main thing.
And again, Rich, I mean, I'm really nodding with everything you're saying, because I think absolutely, one, if we don't ask anybody how they feel and what they're thinking, we don't really know. I do think there can be some reluctance or fear from people to talk about mental health, and that is changing, thankfully, with time. We are talking about it more. But really, for me, and obviously I can only talk for myself, if anybody asks me about my mental health, I am free to say as much or as little as I want. If I'm out in the pub and we're having drinks and a good time, and I might say, oh, I'm not so great, I'm struggling a bit with my depression at the moment. Thanks very much for asking. Perhaps we could go for a coffee next week and talk about it more. Or, there's like anything, there's time and place. I'm not expecting people to be an expert. I am not expecting my friends to give me, specialist mental health advice, not at all. But to just have that chat of, how are you, makes me feel valued, makes me feel welcome as a friend, makes me feel part of the group. And I think and validated. I think the really important thing as well, I think, is having our thoughts and feelings validated. Someone just saying, even if they don't understand and they're not having the same experience as I am or you are, just saying, do you know what, that sounds really tough. Is there anything I can do? Or do you just want me to listen? Or, whatever it is. And I think it's having these conversations, helping people to realise it's okay to ask. And like you said, you're very happy to be asked. And I think a lot of people are. But equally, if people aren't comfortable with being asked, we're all humans. I mean, we can just say, actually, I don't feel like talking about it today.
Yeah. And the worst thing was, I was in a really good mood that night. But when that happened, it just knocked me back for a couple of weeks, because I knew that there's people out there what do think like that.
Yeah, and words really do matter, and reactions matter. I think, as your example demonstrates, that kind of just saying nothing, that walking away, and then even worse, to go on and make fun and be obvious that they're making fun about you, is just absolutely awful. And this is the kind of behaviour that we want to stop. And I think as well, really important to let people know it does affect us, and it affects us for a long time. As human beings, our memories can be pretty good, and we remember these things, and especially the emotional memory attached to things. So like you said, it's about 10 years ago. You still remember it. The fact, and I'm sure, I'm trying to give some credit to your friends, and you will know whether or not you think they were being out and out premeditatively nasty or not. I do think with some people, they just, I don't have any idea as the knock-on effect. And I think, to hopefully give some credit, I would like to think that your friend would be quite shocked to know that 10 years on, you still think about it. And also that you worried about going into a pub for a few weeks after, in case the same experience happened. Nobody should be made to feel like that. We should all feel as though we can talk about our mental health openly and honestly. And on that note, I mean, I would like to say a massive thank you to you, Rich, for talking so open and honestly. And I really hope that anybody watching this and listening to your story can take something away from it, and something positive, and that actually asking people how they are really is beneficial. Is there any last little words you'd like to add? Anything, Rich?
No, just keep safe, everybody, and just remember, health's important with everybody.
Fantastic. So, yeah, thanks so much, Rich, and hopefully speak to you again soon. Bye for now.
Thanks a lot. Bye, everybody.
Cheers.